Part 2 of our planning your Montana fishing trip. Let's freaking do it. I'm Jeff and I do knife reviews, outdoor gear reviews, and outdoor videos, so please consider subscribing before you take off. Today we're talking about part 2 of our Planning Your Montana Fishing Vacation series. And this is where we're going to get a little bit into more of the meat of things. So this is still going to be helpful for those of you that are picking just an outfitter to set you up, or that are doing self-guided. I'll just talk briefly about licenses and any special permits you may need, planning the actual trip, what to expect if you do choose an outfitter, scouting the water, and the equipment you'll need to bring with you. So licenses and permits is a pretty easy one. Unless you're doing a float in a special river like the Smith River, where you're going to need a special permit to float it. Most all rivers and streams in Montana are open just with a normal license, so you need to get your out-of-state fishing license. Pretty easy. You can go through the Montana FWP website, which I'll put a link below to. You can sign up, you can get your license, and you will be set. Planning your trip, getting into the more nuts and bolts of it. This state has a lot of rivers and lakes and streams that you can fish, and a lot of backcountry that you can hike and camp in. You need to make that decision of where are you going to go, what are you going to do. Now is the time for rubber meets the road. For the purposes of this video and to keep time in a consideration, I'm going to just pick one and kind of go through what the process should be for you as you think it through. So I live again here in Missoula in western Montana, so I'm going to use that as an example. If you are planning to come here to Missoula for your fishing trip, you really have 3 rivers that are the main rivers that our guides here go out of, which is the Bitterroot River, which is right along the base of the Bitterroot Mountains. It's a beautiful river. It starts from a small stream pretty much. It's the West Fork and the East Fork of the Bitterroot come together to make the main fork. It is a beautiful river. You're going to get 4 types of trout. You're going to get a lot of different stuff that you can catch in that river, and it's my home water. I love it. It's a great river. Second river is the Blackfoot, very well known for a river runs through it. It is a rocky river. It has a few small rapids, but it has big fish that hit hard. It's got a really cool scenery. It is probably the most popular river in the area in general for people that come here to fish. And the third is the Clark Fork River. The Clark Fork runs not just through Missoula, but it runs all the way to the Columbia River and starts way up from us. So those are your 3 main rivers. The Clark Fork's the biggest. The Blackfoot and the Bitterroot run into the Clark Fork. If you're looking at rivers, that's kind of what you will look at when you're looking at Missoula. Lakes-wise, we have mountain lakes. We have backcountry trips that you can go to lakes and find really great streams. We also have great hiking trails to get to streams that are just right off the highway. You just hike up a little ways and you're fishing. So that's the first part of planning your trip. If you're going to call an outfitter, they're going to give you this same information. And what they'll probably say to you is, hey, let's plan your trip. What days do you want to come? Is there a specific river you want to fish? Or would you prefer that we just take you to the spot that's red hot at that time? Most people just say, take me to the river that's hot, which is a smart thing to do. Some people want to fish a certain type of fish or a certain size of fish, and that's going to depend on where you go as well. So once you've figured out what kind of fishing you want to do, you know your area. We know our area is Missoula for this example. We know we're going to do some river fishing for this example. We know at this point an outfitter is going to help us out and really drive us from here. So let's go the self-guided way. So how do I find access points? What flies I should have? And as we mentioned, equipment. What fly rod should I have? Am I going to need waders? Is the water deep or is it shallow enough to where I'm going to be able to wade fish out into it quite a ways? These are questions that you're going to have to research and find for your own example. But for this example, the best ways to find out information about the rivers is the FWP website, calling an outfitter, or when you're here, going into one of the fly shops. Great information when you go in there. Buy some flies, maybe buy a little bit of gear. They'll give you all the information you need. Most of the people that walk through that door are doing self-guided. They're going out on their own. And so those fly shop folks are there to help you find where's the best spot for you to go and tell you access point. I can tell you The access here in western Montana is quite a bit better than kind of in the central part of the state. Like the Missouri is a really big river. It's not a great wading river. In fact, it's not a wading river at all. The Madison, the Gallatin, there's spots there that you can get in, but there is lots of private property, and so access can be more of a challenge in those rivers. And then as you get to the eastern part of the state and go to the Yellowstone and the Stillwater and the Bighorn, again, there's big chunks of private land. So there are access points, but those are going to be mostly boat rivers that you're going to want to be in a boat. So equipment you'll need will depend on the fish that you're fishing. This one is good. This is good advice for anywhere you go. If you're planning on fishing small fish, get a lighter weight rod, a fly rod. If you're going to get bigger fish, weight up a little bit. Most rivers in western Montana, and since we're using Missoula as an example, most of these rivers, you'll want either a 5 or 6 weight rod. Depending on if you're going to be nymphing a lot or if you're just going to be dry fly fishing, those two rod sizes will do you just fine. I fly fish sometimes with a 4 weight because it's just a little bit funner. And when I go up into smaller water and the fish are going to be 12 to 16 inches. It's just a little bit more fun. I can still have a good time, but I'm not overtaxing those fish. So a quick recap, you're gonna need an out-of-state fishing license and conservation license in the state of Montana. Those are the first things to check off your list. You can also get them here at any sporting goods retailer or fly shop. You're gonna need to plan your trip. Once you've done your pre-plan and figure out where you're gonna go, focus in on that area and really start to break it down of different places and things that you want to do. Decide if you want to use an outfitter or if you want to do self-guided. And if you do want to use an outfitter, contact them and let them help you. If you're not going to use an outfitter, at the very least, show up, go to one of the fly shops, get information. They are loads of free information they'll give you. Buy some flies from them and go out and have a good time. And finally, make sure you have the right equipment that you're coming with. Make sure you have a good fly rod, you have a pack full of flies, you have tippet, all the typical things that a fly fisherman is going to need. And if not, swing by and get what you can. There's a fly shop every 10 miles in this state. So you'll be able to find a fly shop to supplement anything that you need. So that's it for part 2. Part 3 will be a lot more about just Montana in general and what you can expect when you get here. So make sure you watch that. Thanks for watching, and until next time.